Hey, what's up everybody? This is Tyson from Habitats at Home, the home of Doc Murden. In this week's video we're going to be going to see my friend Jamie the Yabby man up at his Yabby breeding facility, and we're going to show you where I get these bad boys, the common Australian Yabby Sherax destructor, in order to feed this lunatic. Check it out. Hey, so I'm just on my way up to see Jamie the Yabby man. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hour drive from where I live. I've been buying yabbies off Jamie for a while, but I've never managed to go up and see his facility. And I've had the day off from work today, and I thought, what a perfect time to go up and check it out. It's a big commercial facility. He breeds yabbies in dams for the restaurant business. And before I got Doc, I made sure to locate a source of yabbies local to me so that I knew that I could feed her correctly. I think it's very important before you get any species of animal to look at what their natural diet is and make sure that you can cater for it before you purchase it. So I've just arrived at Yabby Dabba Doo farms. Just got to open the gate here. There's a strict biosecurity plan here, I guess because they're breeding animals for the food industry, the yabbies for restaurants and stuff like that. They have to be very careful about what comes in and out of here. I had to fill out like a little form before visiting. Obviously because I keep aquatic animals at home and fish, and I've got my own yabbies and aquatic animals and reptiles and things like that, we obviously have to be very careful about what we bring on site. So we'll see what happens. Alright, so I'm here with Jamie at Yabby Dabba Doo. I've just arrived, and one of the first things we've got to do is a bit of a disinfection process to make sure that I'm clean and safe before I enter his facility.
Step through the bath.
So I'm stepping through the bath. I'm going to wash my shoes.
And then hand clean on your hand.
Oh. And then a little bit of hand sanitizer. And we're good to go?
We're good to go. The holding facility is where we catch once we harvest the yabbies, we bring them in here, put them into the sorting bin here.
So you keep the yabbies in a bigger dam?
We do. So this is once we've harvested them, we store them in here for 24 hours so we can, any observation, any dramas. And then once then we separate them into dam stock plates and returns or eaters. And then we store them in these tanks here for customers.
Okay, so these are the holding tanks for, so these ones are ready for sale.
And these are the ones that you're picking up today.
Oh, fantastic. These are mine.
Yep.
Yeah, they look good. Perfect size. That's excellent. So so obviously they live and breed in the dam outside, and then you catch them in like a pot?
No, we harvest them. We have some nets, some 5 metre long nets that we cast out.
Okay. So cast out the nets, then you bring them back in, and then they go into that tank there.
Yeah,
and how long?
hours.
For 24 hours, and you just check over them, make sure
everything's all okay with them.
Okay.
And then we separate them to whatever purpose, whether they're for sale or restock.
Okay, so like by size, etc. before they go out. So well, that's good. So that means that every single yabby is essentially checked before it goes out.
Correct.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Sizes of eaters, we have a 30 to 60 gram. 100 to 70 to 100 and 110 to 200, and what happens is we purge any yabbies that we've taken out for eating size, we purge them in a separate tank for 48 hours, and then we separate them into their particular sizes. So we run this whole system runs on about between 5 and 6 parts per salt per thousand.
That's a big bastard there.
He's a small one.
He's a small one.
So these are the ones ready for purging at the moment. They went in on the 2nd of yesterday. They'll sit here for 48 hours. Take them over this side. So these are the hundreds to 100. These are hundreds to 200.
Yeah, these are too big for Doc to eat.
One has decided, has
Didn't want his claws anymore?
Donated to the cause.
Look at that. Can I actually corner me? Those are some big claws. So what do you recommend feeding them?
Peas, carrots and corn. These are these small 30 to 60.
Now what sort of size can they start breeding? Because I've had ones sort of a lot smaller.
60, they'll breed at sort of 40, 50 or 60 millimetres.
Yeah, I've had that as well.
Depending on conditions. If the conditions are right. Problem is the smaller they are, the less berries they carry, and so you're breeding a smaller yabby from a smaller yabby.
Yeah.
So the ideal breeding size, contrary to what you read, the ideal breeding size is about 110 to 120 millimetres.
Okay, so we're saying that at a smaller size they have a smaller yield.
They have a smaller yield and will generally breed smaller yabbies.
And okay, so the potential size of that yabby to grow is smaller as well.
Correct.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Because their berries are using the genetics of the yabby that they're breeding from.
Okay.
So the larger yabbies, therefore, they're a larger yabby. They've lived a lot longer. They're a lot smarter because they've survived to get to that size. They don't breed as often. So whilst yabbies will breed 3 times a year, the larger ones, say the 150 to 200 gram ones, might only breed once a year.
Okay. And do you notice any different in terms of like growth rate? Like if their maximum potential size is less, do they get to that size faster?
You watch. Every brood will have fast growers and slow growers.
Yeah.
And the idea being...
And the fast ones eat all the other ones.
Correct. And the smarter ones eat the other ones.
Yeah.
So for a yabby to grow, it has to moult.
Yep.
And you know, when they start off as sort of, when they leave the mother, they're moulding once a day.
Once a day?
Once a day, because that's the fastest growing process.
Okay, I didn't realise it was that quick.
From 0 to about 20 mil is about their fastest growth rate. So they're breeding, they're changing their shell all the time.
So when I had them small, I didn't actually notice that they were molting.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
it's very hard to see because it generally happens at the night time.
Yeah, sure, and I suppose they eat the shells before.
So if they can see light, they'll be stressed.
Yeah.
So even though a yabby might seem happy and not want to attack you when you put your hand in there, if they can, in a clear water, they are in a constant state of stress.
Yeah.
And at night time when there's nothing around, then they de-stress. Salt is a good use of salt to help them relax and unstress them is while we purge them with about 6 parts per thousand salt content. They'll handle salt water only for a short period of time, but 5 or 6 parts per thousand is ideal.
Okay, and does the salt also help with their like turtles, like freshwater turtles, a certain amount of salt in the water will help them with bacterial infection and staying healthy,
Absolutely.
So that applies with yabbies as well?
Yeah, and then vice versa with saltwater species. If you give them a freshwater bath, that'll kill any bacteria.
Oh, that's interesting. So would you recommend that I should put a little bit of salt in with my yabbies?
Yes, and use butcher's salt, not coarse salt.
Okay, and do I have to do... Like, would that actually affect them in terms of, like, my lizard eating them afterwards?
No, not at 5 or 6 parts per thousand.
Okay.
Negligible.
All right, well, I'm going to look at doing that then. So I actually keep mine, you've seen how I keep mine. I keep them in a 600-litre laundry tub with lots of weed matting and a lid that hides the light. And I've had various amounts of success. I've had lots of success actually breeding them, and I've managed to get a few up to a decent size, but they seem to just constantly eat each other.
Yabbies need area, not volume.
Yeah.
The key to yabby is a solitary animal. It doesn't care whether the mum will eat the babies, the dad will eat the mother. The babies will eat the mother if they get an opportunity. So no love lost between yabbies. They're a solitary animal. They taste delicious.
Yeah, you know what? I've never actually eaten one. I've never actually eaten one, and it's not because I wouldn't. I just I think I just don't know how to cook them.
Oh, very easy to cook, and the most tastiest part of the yabby is you suck the head.
Ah, from the front or from the back?
From the back, you cook them, you take them out, take the tail off, and then you suck the head.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll give it a go. I think.
It, yeah.
And at what size do you recommend that you can actually eat them?
From 30 to 60 grams.
30, 60 grams. Okay. And in terms of the color, like we can see here that there's a range of colors. So I'm just going to point out we've got quite a light colored one here, and then ranging from like blue claws and a purple body. And then over here you can see that one's got very, very blue claws and quite a blue body. And they seem to range from like a very light pink color all the way through purple to an electric blue.
The longer I leave these yabbies in this darkened tank, the bluer they'll become. Yabbies will choose a colour that they believe best suits their circumstance.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay,
right? So when you have a, and that depends. See, the blue sometimes, the blue is from an autosomal recessive gene.
Okay.
So the blue, to make a blue yabby, you've got to breed blue to blue.
Okay.
So at some point, blue yabby has mated with not so blue yabby, and that's why you get the difference of colours. But if we don't specifically run a colouring a breeding program, but the Sherax albitus, which is a similar, looks exactly the same as the blue claw, except they call it the white yabby. It's generally got a slightly wider body. Okay. And it's more white in colour. They, the ones that you buy at Kellyville Pets and the blue yabbies, they call them electric blue, they are more likely a Sherax albitus.
Oh, so that electric blue colour is actually quite common with that?
No, there's a
line breeding.
Particular people that are breeding, and most of those blue yabbies come from Western Australia.
Like the Marin? Is it?
No, the Marin is West Australian, but the blue Marin comes from Western Australia, but the blue yabbies that you buy in Kellyville Pets and some of the pet shops in Sydney that are blues are actually breeding too. Ah,
okay, I see. So what we're saying is that the yabbies can change colour to suit their environment. Correct. Does that mean they can change from pink to blue if it suits them? And then if you breed two blues together, the offspring are more likely to be blue?
Correct.
Or are they actually, do they come out blue?
Some of them do. If you've nailed the 100% blue to 100% blue, they will come out blue.
Okay, so they will come out blue, but then they could also change colour?
They generally don't, because of the recessive gene.
Okay. So a higher percentage of them will come out blue. And then those blue ones can then go back to pink if it suits them?
Not sure. Okay. Not sure. Haven't done the thing, but it's a recessive gene. So one would imagine the same people with blonde hair and blue eyes, it's a recessive gene.
Yep.
So I can't imagine it would reverse.
Okay. I wonder if my
we don't breed the colour.
Sure. I wonder if my my blue tub affects them at all.
Ask them. Do you speak Yabby yet?
No, the problem is I can't speak underwater. I can speak it above, but as soon as I put my face in, I don't understand.
So there you go, try that.
Oh, all right.
It's a new project.
I'll give it a go. I need something else to work on. I don't have enough projects.
Why wouldn't you? Want to go swim with sharks, or
yeah? Well, hey,
try something different.
Hey, I'm more scared of them than I am of sharks.
Very female.
So these females have berries currently. It's quite hard to see. You can see one blackberry on the bottom of that one.
Yeah, she might have dropped them.
Oh, there's a few more on this one here.
That one's definitely.
And you can see those dark balls underneath the tail there. Those are the berries.
This is out of one clutch. Alright, so you can see the size of that yabby and the size of the one over there. That's what I'm talking about so far as coming out of the same clutch. This one here and this one here is slightly bigger than that one over the back, and they came from the same.
Oh well, so
that one's up there on the thing that came from the same.
That's the same as well.
The same root.
And that one's probably fed itself on some of the smaller ones a little bit faster, and that's why he's grown.
That. So when you do a selective breeding program, they're the ones that you separate, and you generally separate them longer, way before they get to that size.
Do you think that sort of they get a taste for it? Like once, I find like the bigger ones are huge, and it's almost like they actively go out and find them.
Well, yabby's another yabby's enemy, so you know, food is food.
Yeah, exactly.
These are from a single clutch. You've got one there that's growing exceptionally fast.
Yeah, well, there you go. There's a good representation. You can see that there's a varying, like a lot of these are all similar in size, and then you got a big daddy over there.
So if you're running a sleepy breeding program, you would have taken him out probably long before now and put him in with some others, and he may or may not have survived in amongst the larger ones that you've taken out.
Yeah.
So these are the nets we basically use. They've got a cot end in it. So basically what happens is when we cast this net, we tie the cot end off like this. Put bait, they've got entrances either side. An entrance there.
Yep.
Either side. And you get a net like this.
Oh, come on, mate, don't mess this up. Oh, there we go.
It sits in the water like that.
And how long do you leave that in there?
4 hours.
4 hours, and then it's full?
And the only reason you use it 4 hours, this is a very fine mesh net, and you end up with 8 or 9, 10, 15, 20 kilos.
Okay.
And the larger ones will rip the net apart.
Ah, okay. So you just don't want to leave them in there for too long?
So 4 hours, as we found, is about the right time.
So essentially that gives them enough time to get in, eat something, and then not get pissed off about being in there.
So we have bait bags attached to the bottom, over the 5 bait bags in per net.
And you got a particular type of bait that you use?
Dog pellets.
Okay. I saw a guy on YouTube using like a Vegemite sachet.
Oh, they'll eat anything. No, you put soap in there.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
You put soap. You go to a farmland dam in the middle of Western Australia.
Yeah.
You get a stocking, you miss the stocking, you put a cake of soap in there, you'll catch yabbies.
Oh, wow. Is it just the smell that they're attracted to?
It's generally soap's got an animal fat in it.
Ah, okay. And that's what they're...
Most soap's got animal fat.
Oh, that's pretty impressive.
With these smaller net apertures, what it also does is it gives us a picture of what's going on in the pond. Because it's turbid, we can't see the bottom, we don't know what's going on. The only way you know what's going on is if you do a sample test. So when you have a fine net like this, you're not going to you're going to catch most of the yabbies. The real tiny ones that have just fallen off, you're not going to get.
Mm-hmm.
You do get them though. But this enables us to get a picture of what's going on in the pond. So by the various sizes, because yabbies breed prolifically, you know, in a short period of time you end up with multi-generations, and over a 12-month, 18-month period you might have 12 generations in one pond.
Do you find that with you know, being where you are and water, you get a lot of black snakes?
Black snakes keep the brown snakes away.
Yeah, so that's good.
And then monitor lizards, which we have quite a few and which I feed on a regular basis, keep all snakes away.
Yeah. What species do you have? The lace, I'm assuming?
Yeah, the lace monitor. I have one that lives under the container over there, and he gets to feed it chickens and high quality mints every now and then.
Yeah, good on you. Love a lacy.
And that keeps all the snakes away.
Yeah.
So black snakes like water, so do brown snakes. So you occasionally be in a pond, harvesting a pond, and you'll see a black snake or a brown snake come for a swim, and that's generally a good time to get out of the pond.
Yeah, cool. And you're happy to sort of coexist with them here?
Not much more I can do about that.
Yeah.
We have sea eagles here. We have a nesting pair of sea eagles in the Medeo State Forest next door.
Yeah, cool.
And they generally take care of the snakes. We've never seen any snakes up this end of the property. We've seen a few in the ponds over the years, but none up around here.
Well, I'm glad that you're able to coexist with them.
Well, you have to
makes me very happy.
You have to learn to coexist.
That's the right attitude. Now, like, let's say, so I've just moved up to the Central Coast, and I'm looking to buy property up here. I'm still a little while away, but I was looking at a few places. There's quite a few places up here that have like a little dam at the end of the property. If I was to have a little dam on my property and was to buy the yabbies to stock that dam, is there anything I have to do to stop them from going somewhere else?
Feed them and harvest regularly so you don't overpopulate.
Okay, but they're quite happy to just stay in it.
If you keep the food and you don't let them overpopulate, the only way you prevent them from overpopulating is to harvest.
Yeah, okay.
Harvest regularly.
And how often? So obviously I've got to let them.
Depends on what stocks. It depends on what your stocking density is.
Okay. So if I was to stock with, say, like a small dam, maybe like sort of that little piece.
Well, you've got to look at the square metres. There's no point in putting any yabbies into a dam less than 500 square metres. It's a pointless exercise.
Okay.
You'll never be able to build a sustainable population because it'll just go up and down, and most of the yabbies will probably end up walking or eating each other.
Yeah. Okay.
So yabbies require area. Rule of thumb: yabbies require area. Fish require volume.
Yep.
So we say minimum stocking density for dams is 1 yabby per 10 square metres. That's if you want to build a sustainable population.
Okay.
If you've got 1,000 square metre pond, you put 2 yabby, a male and a female in there, they'll never find each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
You put too many in there, I mean, there are minimum stocking densities. You can always stock at large densities to help my bank balance, but it's not necessary. It's not necessary. If you want to get a result faster, then quite obviously, we stock at about 5 or 6 per square metre.
Okay.
When we stock commercial pond, it's about 5 or 6 per square metre. And when we put the hides in, we're probably going to stock at about 10 to 15 per square metre.
So I was just talking to Jamie about whether so I get asked a lot whether I can get people yabbies overseas, and a lot of people see how I keep dock with yabbies, and they say, oh, where do you get your yabbies from? And I always say, well, I'm not in the same country as you. Is it possible to export yabbies overseas?
It is possible to export yabbies. You need to go through the EQUIS process, and it's generally a pain in the arse and really not worth your effort.
Okay, and let's say like someone wanted to go through all that effort, would they turn up live or?
Well, that's what you have to figure out in the process, in doing your due diligence to find out how. I mean, yabbies can't live forever,
yeah,
and they generally have a 3 or 4 day packing life.
Yeah.
So, there is ways of extending life. Is putting them in sealed bags with oxygen injected in the bags. But from a commercial point of view, we can't do that. So, from our point of view, unless you pay Hoof Lung Dung an extra couple of thousand, whatever their currency is, your box of crayfish is going to sit on the tarmac. And they're all going to be dead by the time you get to customer.
Yeah, so for all those people asking me, it is not possible to send you yabbies in the States or wherever you are from Australia, so stop housing me.
It is possible if you want to go through the pus and the pain
and spend a lot of money,
yeah,
I'm sure.
Correct.
So if you're in the States, you're probably better off going somewhere south, where they call them crawdads or crawfish.
The Louisiana crawfish, which is the Procambarus clarkii, which is a Louisiana crawfish, which is, or swamp, they call them a signal crayfish or swamp crayfish. It's very similar. But it's the Procambarus clarkii is the one that you're down at Louisiana and New Orleans.
Okay, so if you're in the States, you can probably find someone down there to source them and send them to you.
I mean, it's heaps of different crayfish in South America, South and North America. Heaps, thousands of species.
But not our Carex destructor.
I mean, the Louisiana crayfish is a fast-growing crayfish, much similar to the Carex destructor.
Yeah,
but
cool.
you'll find that you'll find the importation of Carex destructor, they're classified as an invasive species by the US Parks and Wildlife people, Fish and Wildlife people. And I think, you'll probably get pinged and probably get fined a lot of money.
Yeah.
Which really isn't going to concern you because you've already got their money and, you know.
Yeah.
You've already told them you don't, but you can't do it. But they are very insistent, some of these people.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we're about to box up the yabbies that I came for, and we've got a polystyrene box for insulation.
The first thing we do is give the box a good wipe out, make sure there's no chemical residue left over from the process.
And if you order yabbies from Yabby Dabba Doo, this is how they're going to get sent to you.
So let that dry. Look, casualty. Oh, look, no, see, the yabby's taking the inside of the head out. I told you it's the most tastiest part. Most tastiest part of the yabby is the inside of the head. The yabbies tell you that. Proof positive. So this is basically pine shavings. Comes from Tasmania. And basically we soak this. What it does is it absorbs the water, and that allows your yabbies to remain moist and comfortable medium. In the old days they used to pack them between layers of foam. We find this is yabbies arrive a lot safer and a lot happier. So I put a layer of this in the bottom. This also prevents them from attacking each other too.
Look at that.
So as you can see, they're all nice packed away. And we'll just put this lid on while we prepare the next part of it. Normally we do this next part before we've done this.
For the ice packs.
Ice pack and a gel pack. So you know you need a new life when you can't cut bubble wrap with it.
What cereal box did you get that knife out of?
Yeah, that's it. Alright, so what we basically do, this is a gel pack which is designed to absorb heat. People think it's just like an ice block. It's actually got a special material. It's a medical device that they ship when they're shipping vaccines and medicines that require temperature control.
Is it harder and harder to get those nowadays?
No, buy them by the box from Melbourne, delivered overnight. So now that we got that, now you saw before, oh no, I didn't speak about it. Normally what happens is by the time they get to your place, the top of the box will have yabbies in, which is why you do not unpack your box. We'll take the lid off the box until you're ready to put your yabbies wherever they're going, because they'll end up everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
And what we do is with this, it is just a nice block in a clip steel bag. Put a cross in it like that, so this, whilst it's in transit, that will melt and provide some moisture in the box.
Oh.
Yabbies can live out of water provided they stay moist.
Okay.
Put a bit of wood wool over the top so the yabbies don't come in direct contact with the ice block.
Yep. And I imagine that cold water is probably what sort of paralyses them a little bit when you open the box?
So generally, if you're in a box, an insulated box, lowers the temperature down. So the colder they are, the less active they are.
Yeah, and that's good because that means they're less likely to be eating each other and attacking each other.
They're getting stressed out. The whole idea is once you put the lid on the box, it's all sealed up. That will drop the temperature in the box down to about between 8 and 9 degrees.
And then now that they're in that box, they're good for, like, how long can they last in that box?
We take these for a 3-day transit, although we only ship to overnight destinations, accounting for any delays in the logistics.
All right. And could you just give us a little rundown, like this is for Australia only, but where?
Australia only, Victoria, at Melbourne we can deliver to CBD or depot pickup in Flemington. Most of New South Wales, 90% of New South Wales, we can deliver either door-to-door or depot pickup.
Yep.
And Brisbane we can deliver to the depot in Sumner. Overnight delivery, we dispatch on Tuesdays, it'll be ready to pick up on Wednesday.
Yeah. And is it still the same like when I was getting them down in Sydney, you were doing like a run?
We use a security courier service.
Yep.
So a bit like Armour Guard or Prosiga or Brambles. We use a security courier.
Yep.
So, and that way we ensure they're going to get there the next day.
Yeah. So I think I was getting them. Yeah, I was getting them. You know, I was getting them.
I think we were using Star Trek at one point until they stopped taking live product.
Yeah.
Now we use a security service, and before we did that, I was delivering them.
Yeah, and obviously you're near Sydney. I would expect a lot of people from Sydney to take advantage. What's the sort of cost for delivering down to Sydney?
Okay, so a box like this is $57.20, including the box delivery box and packaging.
Okay.
And then add your yabbies on top. The cost of yabbies on top.
So about $60 delivered. It's about $60 delivered to Sydney, but that's delivery, packaging, and package. And obviously the more. They are shipped on a Tuesday, and it's on a leave safe basis.
So if you're not home, they will leave them at your front door.
Yeah, yeah, I've had that before too. And yes, obviously, yabbies, the more you buy, the cheaper they are.
That's it.
And obviously,
yabbies come in various sizes. So the small ones and the large, these are called the dam stock size, which is 60 to 100 mil. And if you're ordering them for your reptile friends and you use Doc Merton in the email, we'll give you a discount.
Ah, fantastic. How's that? So I really hope that everyone takes advantage of that. And if you have a species that eats yabbies, then you know where to get them from.
Beauty, copper. By delivering your yabbies.
Look at that. How's that for service?